Why did I choose lawn care? How's everybody doing today? I'm taking a little break from lawn care. Got a little rain shower passing through, so I'm not quite done with my day. So I just found a little spot to park to just see what the rain's going to do here. So for the past 16 years of my life, I have worked in lawn care. I specialize in pre-emergent weed control, fertilization. I've done this for 16 years of my life. And a lot of times I get asked why I chose this profession. Why am I in lawn care? So I wanted to talk a little bit about my history and what led me here to where I am today. So I went to college after high school, went to a 4 year college and graduated with a bachelor's in business. And I get asked all the time, why are you doing lawn care when you have a bachelor's in business? Well, my answer to them is why not? Why not lawn care? I love what I do. And I don't regret this decision at all to have spent the last 16 years of my life doing lawn care. So let me tell you a little bit about my journey. After college, I had a lot of random jobs. I did a lot of job hopping. Um, I worked in university admissions for a while. I worked in the financial aid office at a local college. I've worked in property management. I've worked in the corporate world dealing with insurance. I've worked in banking. I did so many things throughout my 20s, mid 20s, late 20s, just trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. And the one thing that I realized about myself during that time was that I don't handle stress very well at all. I don't handle stress well. And in the process of learning that, and in the process of working through all of those random jobs, trying to figure out what I wanted to do for a living, uh, I made a lot of mistakes. All of the stress that I was allowing to come into my life was affecting my job performance. And I was let go of one of those jobs. And when that happened, that was a wake up call that made me realize I needed to get my stress under control. So, what is stress? It's different for everyone. It could be a stressful home situation. You could be going through a divorce. Um, Even if it's stress at work, you could be dealing with a lot of upset and angry clients or customers. And that was really the case for me, was that I didn't know how to process all of my clients and my customers calling in and yelling, basically yelling at me over the phone. Yes, that was one of my job responsibilities, was customer service. And although I took responsibility and I was handling that well, it was taking a toll on me personally. And the mistake that I made was that I took all of that negativity and I took it personal. So that's one lesson that I want you to come away with watching this video, no matter what you're dealing with at home or in your work life, is that don't take things so personal. Uh, if you work for a call center or something, people are not calling that 1-800 number because they're happy about something. They're calling because they have a problem. So that's something I had to tell myself, was that these people are not mad at me. They're just mad at the situation. Uh, Also, you don't know what kind of day they're having. So if you have a customer base or a clientele, they could be having the worst day possible, and you're just the one that gets to hear about it. And they're taking their anger out on you. Now, I'm 46 years old right now, but I feel like I'm 65 in the best way possible. And I eat dinner at 4:30, and I'm ready for bed by 8:30. But my point is that it took me a while to mature before I started making good decisions in life. When I was in my 20s, I made poor decisions. Even though I may have had people in my life giving me advice, I didn't listen. Most 20-year-olds don't. So it took me a while to grow in maturity, as one does. So I feel like I'm at a better point in my life now where I can make good decisions. I'm mature enough to handle stress, unlike I was back in my 20s. So throughout the process of just job hopping and going from one place to another, I started noticing uh, these trucks driving around. They were all the same color. And I looked into this company. I was like, I'm seeing these trucks all over the place. I don't know what kind of company this is or what they're doing. So I pulled up their website, and turns out it was a local pest control, termite, and lawn care company. And for privacy reasons, I'm not going to say the name, but it was a local family owned business. And I was unhappy at the time. I was not doing well in life. Um, I wasn't happy with the way anything was going. So I was like, I got to have a change. I got to get out of this corporate world. So I took a chance, and I sent in my resume and application to this company, and I interviewed. There were two positions open, one with the pest control department doing termite work, and the other one was a lawn care position. Well, turns out I was hired for a lawn care position, and that's the company that I work for today, 16 years later. Um, I get asked sometimes, why do I not start my own business? I'm licensed. I can start my own business tomorrow if I wanted to, but I know what I can handle from a stress level perspective. And what makes me happy is waking up in the morning, coming to work, and taking care of my customers in my route. So I manage my own route. I do work for a local company, but I run my route almost like it's a one man business. So I do everything. I do the work itself, spraying the pre emergent, applying the fertilizer, spraying weeds, selling, growing my route, customer retention, keeping my customers happy so that they don't cancel and go with another lawn care company. I do everything. That's all a part of managing your business, managing my business. So that's what makes me happy, and it's what I've chosen to do with my life. And I get asked sometimes, you have a college degree, you could be doing so much more with your life. But this is what I want to do with my life. You know, I don't care about your BMW that you drive. I don't care about your 10-bedroom mansion that you live in. I'm happy driving my 2011 Nissan Altima and living in my 3-bedroom townhouse with a mortgage that's less than any 1-bedroom apartment that you could find in the area. So, my point is that happiness is different for everyone. And who knows if those people who live in the 10-bedroom mansions, driving the BMWs and driving the big F350 Platinums out there, I don't know if they're happy or not. They have nice toys and nice things, but having nice things, in my eyes, is uh, not a good sense of happiness. They may be happy, I don't know, but I can lay my head down at night and I know that I've worked hard that day, and I can fall asleep like that. I can fall asleep so quickly. One, because I've worked hard. I've worked my tail off all day long. Lawn care is a hard job physically, but mentally, my mind is clear at night. I get to go home to my family, and I don't think about work at all. I'm at home. I'm present with my wife and my daughter, and I can easily separate my work life from my personal family life. And I know a lot of people can't say that. And if you're one of those people who are struggling with separating your work life from your personal life, I would ask you to kind of challenge yourself and really figure out how to make that separation. Get on YouTube and just watch some self help videos. Just type whatever you're dealing with, type it out exactly how you read it in your mind into YouTube, and a gazillion videos will pop up from other people who are dealing with the same exact thing that you are. YouTube is a great tool. So seek help, and that's something free that you can do just yourself. I'm not saying that you have to go and speak with a therapist or anything like that about what you're going through, but my point is, if you're struggling with stress and you can't separate that stress from your work life and your personal life, just go to YouTube and watch some videos and get some tips and suggestions. But I've done lawn care for 16 years of my life, and it's what makes me happy. And I get to live that balance of keeping my stress level at a minimum. Now, lawn care is hard, and I still have to deal with upset customers. Like, why is my grass not green? I pay you all of this money, and I still have weeds in my yard. There's questions that I have to answer all of the time. And if I make a mistake in someone's yard, I own up to that mistake. So part of my job is building relationships. It's not just doing lawn care. Relationships, I would say, is more important than the actual lawn care work itself. So over the years, I've built my route and my customer base, and I've built trust. Trust is huge when it comes to working a route. So now at this point, after doing this for 16 years, I have built that trust, and my customers trust me to come to their yard, come to their house, and do the work. Spray the pre-emergent, put out the fertilizer, give them a lush yard that's green in the summertime and a weed-free yard. So that's what I enjoy doing, and that's what I have a YouTube channel for, is making videos about lawn care related things that come up, and hopefully helping you guys answer some questions that you may have um, about lawn care. Now, there's still a level of stress involved in what I do, but I've educated myself for long enough to know how to answer every single question that could possibly come up, and I'm confident in what I do. So a big part of what I do in lawn care is, number one, looking and acting confident, but number two, knowing how to fix the problems that arise. So whatever problems that may be, is why is there a dead spot in my yard? I've got an answer for it. Why is my grass not green? I've got an answer for it. And I may have 3 or 4 answers for you. Um, but my point is, I've done this for so long that even though there still is a level of stress involved, I've learned how to manage that stress and and act upon it in a way that's professional, and in a way that doesn't cause my anxiety to go out the roof. Another reason that I enjoy doing lawn care is that the results are visual. You get results whether you do a good job or a bad job. And I know in lawn care we deal with a lot of products and chemicals. So those chemicals are good at what they do, but you have to apply them correctly to the lawn. So take pre-emergent, for example. So we're doing our winter pre-emergent right now. So if I rush through a property right now, if I do a poor job with pre-emergent, next summer the results are going to be poor. There's going to be weeds covering my yards if I do a bad job this time of year. So in lawn care will tell on you if you do a bad job. But if you do a good job, you get excellent results. And I love seeing those good results in people's yards. If I do a good job, a good solid cover of pre-emergent in someone's yard, and then a few months later that yard, it doesn't have a single weed in it, I can be proud of myself. I'm proud of the products that I'm using, and it's just visually aesthetic to look at. So that's another thing I like about lawn care, is how visually positive it is. So one thing I like to tell people when they come to me and they say, "Man, I hate my job. How are you so happy in what you do for a living?" Well, I just like to tell people to practice gratitude. And this is fairly easy. It may sound hard, but it's fairly easy. But when you wake up in the mornings, write down 3 things that you want to accomplish that day. And one of the things might be just get in my car and go to work. But they can be as simple as that. But write down 3 things that you want to accomplish throughout that day. Mark them off the list as you accomplish them. And then when you're laying down that night going to bed, I need you to really think about what you did well that day. Just tell yourself, "Man, I accomplished those three things that I wrote down this morning. Those things are accomplished. That was a winning day." If you wrote down 3 things and set 3 goals for yourself and you accomplished those 3 goals, that's a win. That's an excellent day. Well, if you do that every single day, you'll retrain your brain to think positively. And whether or not you like your job or not, that's helping you get through your day. And then if you hate your job, then obviously, help start looking for another job. I know that's easier said than done, but work on gratitude. Work on things that you're thankful for, things that you do well, and focus on that. It's easy to let your negative brain take over when you're in a job that you don't enjoy, or when your life just doesn't feel like it's going right, you really need to focus and practice gratitude in your life. That helped me, and I hope it can help you. One of the mistakes that I made throughout my job hopping years was that I wasn't living by the 3-month rule. And what this means, and now I went to Google for this, this helped me out, but I didn't realize it at the time. But it's best to live by the 3-month rule. And that is, when you start a new job, try to stay at that job for 3 months. One of the mistakes that I was making was I was getting hired at these places and I was working for maybe 3 or 4 weeks, and I would already tell myself, I hate this job. This is the worst job I've ever had. If you give it 3 months to really learn the job, meet some employees, make some friends, kind of learn the culture of the place, that job might end up being great for you. I hated this job. This my dream job, the job that I've been at for 16 years now. I hated it my first month, and I didn't think I was going to survive or stick it out because I was thinking so negatively. I was like, I hate this job. It's so much work. But you know what? I stuck it out for 3 months. Turned out this is the best job I've ever had, and I'm never going to do anything else. But if you're struggling with job hopping, give it 3 months. Live by that 3-month rule. And if after that 3 months you don't feel comfortable with the culture, then start looking for something else if you really feel like that's not for you. But typically, if you stick it out for 3 months, learn the culture, make some work friends, really learn your role, and try your best to do it well, then you'll know after that 3-month mark if that's the right job for you. If you are struggling with feeling like you're behind in life, I felt this for a little while. Like I have friends from college who went off to be doctors, lawyers, things like that, and here I am spraying lawns for a living. But it's what makes me happy, and I'm not interested in getting in uh, this race about who has better toys or who has nicer things or who makes more money. That's not what life is about. And if that's your main focus, then you've got it all wrong. So I would encourage you to just find your own happiness and find peace in your own life. And I thank God every day that I get to do what I do for a living, and that I can also spend time with my family in the evenings. All right. Well, I think the rain is slacking up now. Looks like it might be safe to spray a few more yards. I've checked the weather radar. It doesn't look like any more rain is coming through, so I think I'm good to get back to work. I appreciate you watching this video. Stay tuned for the next one. If you could, just consider subscribing if you're not already, and hit the like button. That really helps out the algorithm, and it helps to send this video out to more and more people, and you would be helping me grow this lawn care channel. I appreciate it. Hope everybody has a great day.